Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? Just letting people roll in for a bit. But today we've got myself and Lion, and we also have our special guest, CrossXIII of Historia Crux fame here. I'm sure if you're here, you know about Cross's channel. But if not, Cross, do you want to plug yourself?
Sure. Hold on, give me a sec.
Sure.
I was gonna advertise your thing.
Yeah, thanks, Cross.
A well-oiled machine. How's it going, y'all?
What's up, Indo?
Indo, how ugly are you going to be tonight?
Expect violence.
I did not mean to do that.
Oh.
Wait, yes, I did. That's a
What'd you do?
lie. There we go. Yeah, 7's FR does seem... I'm interested in it because it's been a really long time since she got any kind of update. And as a character who is hugely single target focused, it's always interesting to see what they do to kind of bring those kits up to date. Unfortunately, it seems like the thing, so far anyway, has been the General Leo, extra HP damage on each attack kind of thing. They did that with him, and they did that with Tifa and somebody else, I think.
Jack has it in a way. DKC
Luna Frey also has it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because DKC is he's got splash, but he's otherwise single target. Oh, except for ZLD. Yeah. You're right.
If they make it scale with FR, it'll be good.
Man, if they don't make her bondage whip trap scale with force time, it's gonna feel
I thought
really
it did.
bad. Does it?
I thought it did.
Do people run 7?
No.
But
I'm pretty sure it scales with force time. I could be wrong.
Really?
I think so. Don't quote me on that.
I mean, if it does, then that's pretty dope.
Hello, Raw.
That also needs to last longer. 10 total turns. It's like
a double cryo effect.
Yes, and that doesn't last long enough.
Yeah, but so it's like 100 times or 100% better than cryo, right?
Which cryos isn't that great either. If it was like 4 turns, but like 4 of 7's turns, I feel like it would be better. Because otherwise, you literally just sit there and you have 7 and you hit the bondage whip or capture whip, whatever the fuck it's called. You hit the button, and then basically every other turn, you're just hitting the LD and then pressing that again. That's all you do. It's not engaging 7 gameplay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
7 is fun, though.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't scale with force time. Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately.
That's brutal. They should change that.
Well, it's not affected by HP. What's it called? HP damage, not HP damage reduction. Yeah, I think it is that. Yeah.
Oh, it's like true damage.
It's like true damage. It's like X-Stuff thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, so you can't buff it with like HP damage up and stuff like that?
I don't think you can. No.
Oh man.
Yes, this is cross.
It is. What's going on wrong?
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's switch over to the live section of the stream here.
Hell yeah.
Hello, everyone. Okay, cool. So, welcome to episode 3 of Echoes from the Rift. This week we'll be going over Dark Knight Cecil's BT cycle, which is the Transcendence 13, Kuja's IW, and Jesse's character release event. And then we will also be having a discussion about the upcoming JP changes. We won't go into it too much because it's not out yet, but we'll just sort of do a quick overview of what the changes are and our initial impressions. And then finally, our showstopper for the evening will be a fun little discussion about the whole ticket fiasco on the GL side. I've had this conversation in many different areas, and I just want to give my final word on the topic, and then I won't go into it again. But I did want to just have a final point that I can point to whenever it comes up again and say, these are my thoughts. We are also joined today by CrossXIII of Historia Crux fame.
What's up, everyone?
Cross, did you want to just plug your show quick?
I did earlier, actually, funny enough,
Oh,
so I
okay,
don't think I
cool.
needed it again. It's
Perfect.
fine, though.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I guess just before we get into the Dark Knight Cecil cycle, I will do a quick overview of my account and the changes that we've had since the last stream. So let me go to my party screen. So we've had some very unfortunate times here and in the Tree Void JP side of things. I did manage to pull Jessie. So I have her full kit and everything. She's fine. You know, I don't really have units that synergize with her, so I can't utilize her too much. I did pull Snow. I went to BT Pity for Snow, and I regret this a lot. I wanted a tank. I've been complaining about the lack of tanks for a long time. And then Warrior of Light was immediately announced for the next cycle. So regrets are here, but we move forward. Snow will still be useful for Transcendence and such, and I'm sure he'll come back around again in the future. 9 is not a tank.
Oh, so... God, you fell for it.
So I can't use him.
I sat there for a few seconds like, please don't say anything.
He doesn't have lock, so he can't be a tank. It doesn't work. So let me go to the pull screen, actually, because, yes, Snow and Jessie were my main two ones. I also got Garnet and Warrior of Light. Hey, Mouse.
I'm still fishing for Warrior Lights FR.
Yeah. So I've had the worst pull luck I've ever had in both GL and JP DFFOO. It took me 600 tickets and I guess that's 20k gems to get wall, so that wasn't too bad. For Garnet, though, I've spent 1,000 tickets and however much 320 G tokens worth of gems are.
God damn!
Down bat! Oh my god!
And the worst part is all while pulling for this damn BT. Let me show you what I've gotten in the meantime.
Uh-oh. He saved this. Oh boy.
Come on. Almost there. I got 8 of both Terra and Garnet's FR.
I like that you maxed them all.
Yeah, I want the for the force
The
stone
stones.
items, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
It actually makes sense. I'm not that crazy, but I got 8 of them with no BT. Like this is the worst luck I've ever seen. I have so much of these trash weapons. I have Shadow, I have Alphino. I'm never going to use them. I don't even have BT books for these units. I'm just trapped not getting Garnet's BT. I've now had to suffer through summon board grinding for treasure nodes to scrape up gems. So I thought, while we're here, as a little maybe stream luck, we'll do some pulls, and we'll see if we do manage to get Garnet BT in these 3 pulls. Wouldn't it be the same thing as selling the 4 FR weapons separately? In terms of high power stones, yes, but when you max them, when you max an FR weapon, you get the 2 force stones or whatever, right? So that's why I fuse them together. So let's try these pulls. Okay.
I'm gonna also be pulling off screen.
Yeah. So CrossXIII Lion, have you guys pulled for either Garnet or wool while we're
So Garnet and wool, I don't know what it is, but recently, as in JP, I've been luck sacking nothing but FRs. I got Garnet's FR in the free pull, and then I got wool's on the free pull too. And then I went back for Warrior of Light's BT, and then I got that in 300 tickets.
Oh, very nice.
But I didn't build either of them.
Do you have Garnet's BT, or are you going for Garnet's BT, or you're just skipping?
No, I'm gonna skip it because if I use her in JP, I'm gonna get tired of using her in Global.
That's fair. You're not making the same mistake that I am.
Yeah.
Oh my god. These pulls. You know what? I hate that I see an LD and I just get upset now.
Especially if it's Ico's LD. Yikes.
At least it's a good call in 6 Warrior.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be Thancred.
It could be. Oh god. Poor Thancred.
He'll get his time to shine.
No, he won't.
No, he won't. As for me, I think I got Garnet's FR. I believe it wasn't on the free pull, but it was on like one of the free tickets, like the dailies. And on stream, I just sunk 120 tickets into the Warrior of Light banner and pulled his FR and burst as of right now. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself. I didn't have the burst either. I'm probably not going to pull for Garnet for the same reasons. The exposure to her on global, I'm just I'm not going to say I'm soured on the experience, just I don't really want to play her very much. She's really strong and the content can't really like keep up or fight back at all, which isn't very much fun for me. So I'm going to save playing Garnet for when this rolls around in global, I think.
Fucking hell. Where is this goddamn... Yes, I am mixing raw. I'm desperate. This is horrible. Okay.
Maybe this is the catalyst that we need to get Ink Welder back into the game.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh god. So just 25k more gems. And then I'll get the pity, and then I'll be free. And I can skip 7, and I can skip Neon waifu bait.
Oh man. Right in front of Indo.
I
God
know.
damn.
Oh god. I've never had this happen before. I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like to be poor. I don't know what it's like to have no tickets.
You should have played at the beginning of the game's lifespan when resources were worse than it.
Oh, okay. So back then, yeah, like I remember running like a 1 out of for 35 CP Sephiroth.
Ew.
But that's way back. That doesn't count anymore. That's a different game. That's not even TIFO.
You remember the days before pities?
I would not like to think that.
Remember when Beatrix came out and didn't have a pity? That was fun.
I do remember that. I remember it painfully well
Yeah.
because that was the event where I started playing this game, and I put every single resource that I could get into that. I think I got Beatrix on the next to last day of her banner after dumping every gem and ticket that I got into trying to pull her.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Times.
Horrible.
And then I did the same thing on Agrius shortly after. Agrius is where I started spending money. It's like, I want this.
Down Bad Chronicles.
Yeah.
Ooh, god damn, Raw.
I mean, is he wrong?
Mino spending 175k gems and not getting Titus's EX.
Did you guys hear about the legendary spend over 15k gems and not get Titus's 35?
How many gems?
Over like 70k.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Back during the 35 CP era.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a time that was. That was.
Dark days.
Finally got walls LB.
The best part about that is that I knew the person who did that.
Brutal. Where is... Okay. So, sort of getting the show back on track here. 13k tickets on Alpha EX. That's... yeah. I feel you now. Now with this Garnet hell that I'm going through, I see what it's like on the other side. So, it sucks. It's brutal. So, the very first fight of Dark Knight Cecil's BT cycle is Farthest Ends of Dimension Transcendence 13, or just Dimensions End Transcendence 13 for us on the GL side. And it's these... I can't get a good picture. It's these Wario heads. There's a couple good funny edits of these guys with the little Wario cap on, and it fits way too well. So apparently these are existing enemies in a different FF game, but I don't remember them. So
I think it's FF12.
Who the fuck played 12? I don't know.
I did.
First of all, excuse me. Second of all, I don't remember any fucking giant head things in that.
I remember like the fire lamp lantern things, but I don't remember these variants of them. Yes, I've also played 12. I've played all the mainline games, but yeah, I don't remember much of 12. I got the Zodiac Spear and I just blitzed through it. So
And then you just quit the game.
and then I beat the game, right?
Boring.
He didn't fight Yasmat. Not an actual completionist.
No, why would I spend years of my life wasting?
Yasmat was not that. Okay, wait. Are you talking about like OG PS2?
Yeah, like OG PS2.
Oh, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
Look, y'all, that game was not bad. I said that with a straight face.
Yeah, I don't know how you can do that to yourself. It's so bad that Ash's BT animation isn't even from that game. They went to the DS game.
Rival Wings?
No,
Revenant Wings?
I don't know.
Why did I say Rival Wings?
It's the one that has the
PvP mode.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah. I actually enjoyed Final Fantasy 12, the original one.
I think it's fine.
Like, unironically.
OG as fuck.
Now that being said, the what do you call it? The Zodiac job system is definitely a lot better.
Yeah, 100%. And the whole like trial mode with the 100 floors.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, Zodiac Age is a much better version of that game. Does anyone want to go into specifics on the Transcendence 13 fight?
Well,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
first things first, this is the first Shinryu that we've had that actually has more than one wave. It has 3 waves. And I believe it's also the first Shinryu that and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure this is also the first Shinryu in Transcendence that actually has it so that the bosses like decrease in waves too. Like you get 1 wave with 3, 2 in the second wave, and then 1 on the final wave. And I believe the final wave has more HP.
Yeah. The final wave has a lot more HP. I think it's 100 mil. I can look this up, but yeah, like the first wave, each of these guys have very little HP. The second wave has slightly more, and then the last wave has quite a bit more. I'll sort of, while we're going over the fight, I will only do the first wave of the fight just as a visual showcase of what's going on. I will not be repeating what we did last week, where I go through the whole fight. But while we're here, I'll just quickly describe the team I brought, which I thought was good, but wasn't quite so great. So I brought Orin, Dark Knight Cecil, and Seiss. Dark Knight Cecil is the feature BT unit. Orin was my counter/evasion tank. And Seiss was also here just for the off-turn damage and evasion. And also Dark Elemental.
Like God intended.
Yeah. That's God intended.
Just a Seiss solo at.
Yeah, Cross. Where's the Seiss solo?
I actually set myself on a far too high pedestal when I started doing them shits. I was like, you know, I like Seiss, but I'm like, there's no way I can solo most of these shit. No, I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I like off-turn damage, so yeah. Just give me an off-turn damage deal, I'll play them.
Yeah. So what is the main gimmick or mechanic of the force gauge in this fight?
Enemy force gauge go up fast. That seems to be the primary mechanic.
And is there anything that happened? Yeah, it's already at 36%.
Yeah, it's just shooting up.
Yeah.
I don't know if your characters have their force levels or not, but look at that. It's only been 4 actions now. It's fast.
Oh, I meant to do that HP attack there. And are there any conditions that you have to meet when the enemies are in their force time? Similar
yes,
to
I believe it.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Lion.
No, go ahead, Cross.
No, I did the first part, bro. You did the other part.
Okay, that's fair. So for this one, when the enemies activate their force time, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't read Japanese and I haven't looked at any translations for the fight. When they activate force time, if you don't have at least one character that's below, and I think it's 50% HP, they will instantly wipe your party. And similarly, their attacks during force time, I'm not sure if it's that you have to have at least one character below 50%, or if it's that the targeted character has to, but they will also instantly kill whoever they're targeting if you don't meet the condition.
It's just one character.
Oh, it's just one?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, I have actually not beaten this fight.
There's a perfect showcase of what happens if you're not low enough on HP.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
The problem that I'm having is that my team is not that great. So I'm running Cecil, who I finally got the kit for on the Jesse banner, so really, really late in. As well as Seiss and Leon. Leon completely negates all of their brave attacks, but the problem is Leon needs to be above 50% HP for the plus versions of all of his skills and things like that. On top of which, his LD trap heals the party, and not for an insignificant amount. So the problem that I'm having is that I'm having to really carefully juggle when I take the LD attack, which is a pain because you want to maintain that buff for Leon because it increases his damage output pretty significantly. I'll obviously beat the fight. It's just I tried it for, I think I did 4 attempts. I said, you know what, let me put this down for today and I'll come back to it. And then I got sucked into Genshin Impact, so I just haven't been back to it.
Yeah. I originally had Leon instead of Seiss, and I had the same issue where I was just getting too healed. Especially, it's a bit strange, but Dark Knight Cecil's BT effect, when combined with launches, can also heal you too much, which is a bit funny in terms of him being the featured unit here.
I appreciate his burst effect, and it gives me hope for the future for X-Death specifically. I don't think that they're ever going to let the effect damage scale with Force Time, but the way that they played Cecil here was, and you can kind of see this on screen as you're watching Tree Void, as you take turns, or as people take turns during Cecil's burst, he does AoE damage to everybody on the field, friend and foe alike, and that ties into his FR condition, which is doing dark damage, having low HP, and some other thing. I forget what it is.
You have to do dark damage, be at low HP, and I think it's one more condition. I don't remember.
I think 2 of them are low HP, where one is like when you're below 100% and the other one's below 50%.
Let me check.
It's something like that.
I have it up right here. I always have this shit up because actually, yeah. So when you use a dark command, when on your own turn, it's 30%. When you're below 50%, it's plus 30%. And then dark damage, obviously, that's the easiest condition. Well, actually, no, dark damage is not the easiest condition.
It's the hard one.
It's the hardest one if you have his BT.
But it gives me hope that they'll do something with X-Death where the the HP poison ticks will feed into his FR mechanic somehow.
Yeah, I'm hoping that for him specifically, they'll make it so that his HP poison does scale with FR during his FR. They won't do that, but I hope they do.
I think I would be okay with, I don't know what conditions they would add for him, but I think that the effect that I would like to see, and this is the last I'll say, taking us off topic, I would like to see them give X-Death an effect while his Force Time is active that allows probably just him, maybe not the party, but just X-Death to ignore HP damage caps of all kinds.
Oh, that would be
interesting.
Yeah.
So that the limit to his damage is his own power. He would be the only character in the game that could do that, which feeds into the laws of the universe meaning nothing, which I think would be neat. I'm sure that they won't do that, though.
So as soon as you take one of them beneath 50% HP, they get these buffs up, and they also get... are they Brave damage shields, right?
Yeah, Brave damage shields.
Yeah. And you can see that they just kind of nuked my damage output here. But another interesting part. Why is Seiss doing ones? I think it's just the defensive buff they have going. That's really high. Like Orin was the only one doing serious damage because of his defense ignore. And I think Dark Knight Cecil just has like crazy sort of auras going on. Yeah, she's just doing ones. She is fully built. Well, she doesn't have her EX 15 CP or 35 CP character boards, but other than that, she is fully built.
Yikes.
Well, I have to conserve character points here.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, it's rough being a new player here.
Yeah,
At what point do you cease being a new player, though?
When I clear Transcendence.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
No, I'd say like after Garnet cycle, I can drop that label because I'll have a pretty fleshed out roster at that point. Something that you're seeing here is for this first wave, for whatever reason, as soon as they drop below 40%, they die. So they don't. I don't really know why they implemented it in this way. It's kind of just lower their health. I don't really get the point of that gimmick. But
so
yeah, go ahead.
Something interesting about the first wave too is that you mentioned that they just completely just die.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that's interesting is that if the boss gets another turn while two of them are dead, they will actually revive.
Oh, I've never encountered that. Okay, so that's why they do that. Yeah. One last thing to note is that I believe this is true for all waves. The enemies cannot die in their first time.
Nope.
Correct.
They're immortal.
Yeah. So that's happened. That's been in a couple fights throughout Shinryu. This is the only one I've experienced so far, though, I believe. So that is another interesting thing. So this is as far as I'll go on the fight, but just to sort of showcase that the first wave had 3 enemies, and they all sort of died at the 40% unless you let them act while some of the other guys are dead. For the second and third wave, you do just have to outright kill them. And the third wave is sort of the main boss wave of the fight. I've only ever done this in 2 FRs. I think it would be very difficult because it's a 3-wave fight to do it in a single FR. But I always made it so that my first FR finished or had 1 turn left going into phase 3. That way I could get the Ramu summon off immediately and get one last big hit in for the beginning of phase 3 to just sort of get myself started off and build that gauge up again before the third phase really kicked off. Or the third wave,
you're using Slice's FR for that?
I did not use Slice's FR. I used DKC's.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't recommend this team. It didn't work too well.
It's a poorly team.
Team. Yeah, it's a bad team, but it was a team that cleared, and for
it's what got you to the up.
Yeah, exactly, and for this purpose, that's all I really cared about. I will clean up Transcendence at a later point, but I just wanted to get my rewards first and foremost.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So that is Transcendence. It's a fun fight, and you can see if you're not paying attention, like I was in that very first wave, you can get caught if you're sleeping at the wheel here, and they will get you. So it is a fight that requires you to pay at least a little bit of attention, and if you don't have Dark Knight Cecil, I think it's much more difficult.
Actually,
yeah.
There's one character that I don't think a lot of people mention that actually will make the fight even more easier if you don't want to bring Dark Knight Cecil.
Renoa?
No?
Uh-huh.
Well, Renoa is one of them.
That's a good
Renoa
shout,
is
though.
one of them.
That's a good
yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
But Arden, because remember, Arden's LD effect makes him immortal, but he cuts his HP. So he's technically dead, but he's not also dead at the same time. And he doesn't heal when he attacks.
Yoshi paid you to say that, didn't you?
No, he did not.
Not sure if I believe.
I mean, do people pay you to say Seymour's good?
No, it's because he is.
I think Lion pays himself.
I do.
Oh,
I give
yeah.
myself a treat every time I say it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, but Arden's actually good here.
yeah, I never thought
someone
of
I'm
Arden,
looking
but yeah, that's really smart. I wonder how. No, I was thinking maybe Galoof, but his HP regen would be too much of a pain to deal with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And then I mean, there's units like Queen, but no,
Dated at this point.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, Arden or Renoa or Dark Knight Cecil seem like the
There's a VV.
best.
There's a VV clear of this stage.
Oh, VV2.
Ooh, that would
Yeah.
be a really good idea.
Yeah, VV2. Yeah, there are more self-damaging units than I thought, actually.
There's
but-
not enough dark units in the game.
Yeah.
There's someone else that's also about this fight is that if you're not doing dark damage, you do shit damage. Another thing with elemental lockouts.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the sub one. What is my JP code? Just 1 second here.
I think I prefer it when it's just we have a blanket resistance to everything that isn't whatever element versus just other elements, if that makes sense.
You mean like a melee resistance or like a range resistance or?
Well, it's like if you're not dealing dark damage, they're resistant to that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really heavily trying to push you into the path of taking, dark damage dealers, which I think I prefer to. You can't take a wind character because this fight only wants water or whatever. It's functionally the same thing, but it also quote unquote locks out non-elemental attacks as well, which I like.
I honestly don't. I know some people probably don't like the idea of elemental lockouts, but like that's why I feel like makes it harder to use characters and why it feels more rewarding to put that character into work if you build the team around them. Like you a perfect character with that example, Ferris, who's been locked out for 3 months entirely, and then you bring her with someone like Shalata or Setzer, then it feels rewarding that you actually brought that character in because of the lockouts. Of course, there's also like other characters who also get locked out. But like, I don't mind elemental lockouts.
Yeah,
it's only it's only a problem if the character doesn't break in between their attacks and they also have an element that's commonly resisted.
Yeah, or I guess an element that's not commonly allowed, right? Because they resist everything other than the feature element. Yeah, like there's been no fire exclusive fights as far as I'm aware.
Nope.
Yeah, because who are the fire? Like Ignis, Lulu,
Jacked,
Braska.
Edge.
Oh yeah, Edge is half there. Yeah. Who?
I said not Braska.
Not Braska.
Vivi.
Yeah, Vivi. Although
Alize and Prish.
Yeah. Those ones are like mixed.
Alice is gonna. That's rough.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh.
What is it? Alice, Prish, and Shantoto. Oh, it's gonna be rolling.
That doesn't do fire damage.
Oh no, I mean in general because they all hit.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Multi-element units.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Shantoto just gets hit by the hardest, bro. Could you imagine? No, actually, no. Twins gets hit by the hardest. Could you imagine having 4 elements?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could rework them in such a way that they're like Shantoto's Omni Imperil bypasses reductions, and then she's fine, right? Like in theory.
If they do that, though, they have to give that to Rydia, because that was her entire gimmick.
No, that gimmick is dead now. Now she's an evasion gimmick. Like, The water, the weak, whatever, gone. Who cares? No, not relevant. They didn't care about that from her release.
They really didn't.
Yeah, like it was literally a never utilized feature of her kit.
Oh, Vaughn too, but Vaughn doesn't give a damn about brave damage.
That's correct.
Yeah, Vaughn
That's great.
It's just gains for days.
And then Zonde.
Don't get me started.
Hey, listen. At least Zonde's useful now.
Listen, next
He has
tuning
that
pass.
That LD call, yes.
Yeah, he's become a call. A somewhat meta call unit now for your Cices or your Enacro, I guess. Yeah, he's useful now. Or Dark Knight Cecil.
Or you could be like me and use Anacro call and just do off.
Oh my gosh. You're just never going to escape the Enacro call.
I'm not, bro. I think she literally, from the EX tick procs bullshit, now she's literally a call for me for my Gladio and Size duos if I just feel like it.
Yeah.
I mean, that would do it, yeah. I'm actually unhappy that I didn't get Zonde's LD on JP because I don't have a call to back up like Cecil or Sice or Enacro or not Enacro. Yeah, actually, yes, Enacro. Makes me sad, but it's what it is.
It is what it is.
Oh, Cyan BT? Yeah, Cyan's BT should just make it so that his Bushido stack stays capped for his entire BT duration.
Oh, hell no. That sounds like a bad idea.
And then you stick it with Luna Freya and bam, just ultimate FR. Just go. Like 8 dumps 5 times. Melt everything. I mean,
that is what happens when you design Luna Freya.
Yeah. Man, I can't believe I didn't get... I was a day late for the Luna Freya Kane banner on JP.
Ooh, that's rough.
Because that's a loaded banner. If we get that banner on GL and you somehow skipped them both or came late, that's like one of the best banners I've ever seen. That's like one of the best supports ever and one of the best DPS units like ever. It's insane. Yeah. Anyways, sort of getting back on track here. The second event of Dark Knight Cecil's BT cycle was Kuja's IW intersecting whatever. And I think it's quite notorious, at least from my perspective, as being one of the worst banners I've ever seen in DFFOO. I don't know how you guys feel about these banners. I don't normally talk about banners.
Who's on this banner?
Lion and Deuce.
Ooh, well, okay.
Like Deuce has some.
Deuce is okay.
Yeah, she's got charging utility.
But Deuce isn't that bad.
Yeah, she can charge. She has pretty decent auras now. But like it's the first banner I just completely skipped.
Yeah, Lion is pretty rough though.
Lion's pretty rough. Kuja's fine, but when you're looking at a lot of the FR effects that are coming out now, where they basically have an Ultima weapon level 6 level effect of 50% HP cap and 50% damage up, and Kuja's was like 10 or 20% in the 10% in the FR. Like that's just not okay.
That's wrong.
Yeah, like it's very sad. The FR could like additional parameters that they gave him. I can't really speak to his kit too much, but I know Lion you pulled for him. I'm not sure if Cross you have Kuja and JP. But what were your feelings? I know you ran him in this stage, Lion. What were your impressions on Kuja?
I would have called this a good argument. specifically that in Kuja's case, yes, he only got 10% cap up on his FR while it's active, but he also has, I think it's 20 or 30% on his burst effect. So I could kind of look past that. But then we got Warrior of Light.
Yeah.
Which, if you're not aware, Warrior of Light has a 20, I think it's 20% HP cap up on
plus 35 if you include his high armor plus.
Yeah. So he's got 20% HP cap up on his burst effect. So same as Kuja, but he also has 15% more on his high armor, and his FR effect gives you another 50% as long as you have his shield buff up.
Which you will always have.
Which is insane. So, yeah. The Kuja part, not looking so hot. As a character, I mean, he's fine. I don't think he's, absolutely game-breakingly fantastic or anything like that. I enjoyed playing him. It was fun. I think maybe extending the burst duration slightly would have been nice.
How long is his burst effect?
6 turns.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's still 6 turns, isn't it?
God, these cursed 6-turn burst effects.
Yeah. Oh, his conditions are hitting holy damage and doing AoE attacks.
Yeah, very easy conditions.
It's extremely easy to get because he enchants the party, and all of his buttons are AoE.
Hey there, Theo.
But I remember seeing in the JP chat on the TCC server, ZK was using him, and I think he hit some really, really high numbers using the burst during force time. Like, it was very, very high. I would have to go back and look at it, but it was way beyond what I was pulling off. But yeah. I also have not been playing JP as long, I'm sure, as ZK, at least consistently. So I definitely don't have the same depth of roster to be able to take advantage of and leverage some of these things. So,
yeah, I wouldn't deny that Kuja himself can't put out a lot of damage, especially like that LD is still a very, very strong move, and the fact that he guarantees the holy condition because he's a holy enchanter, and almost everyone in the game does AoE attacks. Like, he is one of the easiest FRs to meet, and I think that is a benefit because it saves you call slots and other things that you don't have to quite build around so much. So there is value in his FR and in his kit. I think it's just a little bit disappointing when compared to his contemporaries. Yeah. But with respect, if you want to say anything, Chris.
I think the more disappointing thing for me on Kuja, honestly, is that I think as a AoE, okay, first off, he's not a damage dealer anymore. Let's be honest. That man is like
It's true.
That man is like a support. He's like a support, but he's also a damage dealer. Mm-hmm. So it's like he's a utility character. Is that the right word? Utility, versatility. I don't know which one it is, but
kind of, sort of.
Yeah, but he's So like, the thing about Kuja that I'm more like not very a fan of is the FR buffs itself, because like Lion mentioned before, we have these elemental FRs having 50% HP damage cap when you hit the element that it wants, right? And that is very, very good, right? Kuja's sitting here with like, okay, let's see, you guys BT plus, which has 20, and then you have his FR, which is like 10%. That's 30%. That is literally a BT. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, 30% HP damage cap up isn't bad, but then why does an LD only unit like Sice, who's sitting here roaming with an FR that has 30% HP damage cap up? In fact, Strago has 50% HP damage cap up, and he doesn't have to hit element for it.
You just need to hit a broken target.
Yeah.
That's a pretty tough condition to meet, though.
Yeah.
Can people not break bosses or something like that?
That was sarcasm. Yeah. I just want to be clear. It's super easy to meet.
Unless you're doing a Null Saga, in which we'll have 5 back-to-back break immune bosses.
Okay. At least I did it.
No, you
Most
didn't.
people
It's
wouldn't
super
fucking do it.
impressive. I definitely didn't think you could, or not you specifically, but I didn't think it could be done. But you shut it off. No, it's super impressive. It's just, when they decide to do break immune, they do it.
Yep.
They go all in on that shit.
Yeah.
Can't wait for my FR to be break immuning. No, that's cope.
Well, now that they've gotten rid of BT cycles, imagine it being literally the very next fight.
That'd be so funny.
Yeah.
But back on track. Kuja, yeah, I don't think he's terrible. I see some people saying like he's god awful terrible, and I don't think that's the case. I just think that he doesn't offer some sort of like bullshit. Like some characters who are like, dominant or like known to be really good offer some sort of bullshit.
That was a very good way of putting it. Let's see. What's a really good example off the top of my head? Garnet. Garnet
Everyone
still
knows
has the
Garnet's
same bullshit. Except now she has an FR where the conditions are super easy to meet because it's like 30% for doing thunder or water damage. And she enchants for that shit. And then it's, what's the other 20% for?
For Garnet?
Yeah. She has 2 conditions. I don't remember the second one. I pulled her FR and I literally have not played her at all.
Yeah, I just hit them.
Or Warrior of Light. Warrior of Light is plus 40 for taking damage to the shield.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, Warrior of
There's
Light has a very, very good FR.
There's a video floating around of Warrior of Light soloing his Intertwined Will, which that particular fight's whatever, but
yeah,
it's just because he sits there and lets the enemies delay him over and over again.
Yeah, I guess there's the visual glitch of having no buffs going on right now with my wall here.
Oh man, that's fun.
Yeah.
I never got that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I heard from Cross that the wall fight is the Thancred, or no, is the Irvine IW of Shania.
The Thancred IW. Okay. Let me rephrase when I told you that. So, in terms of the Irvine IW thing, people say that because of the simple fact of all the souls and duos that are happening. I don't think it's actually like Irvine's IW, because unlike Irvine's IW, the boss's mechanics are still there, and it's not like their force time will just go away and get Thanos when when you do a certain thing. Yes,
but counterpoint. Back in in the I keep trying to say Thancred. In the Irvine fight. Oh wow, okay, this team is also horrible. But back in the Irvine fight, if the orb went off, that was still bad. Here, when the force goes off, you're happy it went off.
Yeah.
Right?
Fun fact, they can miss.
They can?
It can miss.
Oh.
Because I used Edge there, and it could miss, yes.
Wow.
And he countered it.
So what you're saying is you should bring Irvine to that fight. That's what I'm hearing.
If you want to have fun, sure.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about that fight at the moment. This fight is the Kuja intersecting will or whatever fight, and it has a couple mechanics. So one of them is, I believe they resist all non-light or dark elemental damage.
I think, is it non-light and dark?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
because
I was getting the impression for some reason that it was non-weakness damage.
Well, let me bring in Onion Knight and we can test that. But I know that when they're in their force time, if you're not hitting light or dark, they will hit you with a blind debuff.
That shit is annoying.
Yeah. Oh. It doesn't say it here. I'm fairly certain that's the case. Yes. So basically the main gimmicks of this fight is if you're not hitting the right elements, they will slap you back with the blind debuff, which is very irritating for obvious reasons. And the other thing is they have to be killed at the same time.
They sure do.
If you kill one of them without first, basically, the one that dies will instantly be revived at full HP.
Yep.
So does the second one fully heal itself and like reset the fight, or does it?
No.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, no.
If it did, that'd be the silliest shit.
I got caught out by that mechanic, which has been immortalized on stream. My, I think, first attempt, I was running Kuja in this just to play around and, you know, kind of learn the fight mechanics and stuff like that. And I got to the end of it, I was like, oh man, this really wasn't that bad. And then I killed one of them. I think it was B, and they just respawned. And I was like, oh, okay. And at first, I thought it was that, you know, you have to kill both of them twice. It's not. You have to kill them at the same time. Because when I killed the other one, they also respawned. Dead run.
Yeah.
It's funny. It wasn't funny when it happened to me.
Yeah.
It's funny what happens to other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
One nice thing they do is they do inflict you with a frame speed down, which is great if you're doing off turn.
So this is one of the hardest fights I would say you can bring like a single target counter attacker or like any single target damage dealer because of the fact of they revive.
Yeah, I would totally agree. You want, and it makes sense since Kuja is the feature unit here, you want AoE damage.
Because like Lion, that thing did happen to me in my first run. I did what's it called? I did with Reigns, Ash, and I did with Selfie, right? And because Reigns is a single target DPS monster, I killed one of them in the BT phase. No, actually, no, I killed one of them outside the BT phase, right? Outside the BT phase. And I was like, okay, this boss had no HP. It revived, and I was like, oh, I have to do this shit.
Yeah, when the second one, when they revived the second time, it clicked, and I was like, oh, I have to kill them at the same time, don't I?
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought that was neat. Basically, it only catches you once. So once you've experienced it, sort of the gimmick goes away. But it is still nice that there was something to the fight.
Yeah, because otherwise it was kind of toothless.
Yeah. It looks like you were correct, Lion. I am just hitting weakness damage. And my Undynight is enchanting my Orin, and now it's fine. It might be that once they hit a certain threshold, they need specifically light or dark damage. I remember that coming up at some point. But, you know, the possibility that I'm wrong is there. However unlikely as I think that is.
I don't remember who I ran when I got my clear. I'd have to go back and look at the stream. But it wasn't Kuja.
Yeah, which is funny in its own right.
And I don't think it was another holy or dark character.
Let me see who I ran.
I didn't have Cecil's burst at the time.
Where are these Krakens?
Oh, it's definitely not, because I watched the Nightingale run with Braska on this.
Okay, so you know what I think it is? I think you have to hit elemental weakness damage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's just, it has to be elemental weakness damage.
Yeah. So I ran Selfie, Ash, and Dark Knight Cecil. And at one point my Ash started hitting ones. And I must have just assumed that that's because of the mixed element issue that Ash has, but maybe I'm wrong then, and it doesn't need that. But that was just the impression that I got from the fight. But Ash doesn't hit hard, regardless. She's
a support. Come on.
Yeah, she's a support. She's not there for her damage. But yeah. So yeah.
What's actually funny is that she shuts down this entire boss. She actually shuts down this because that counterattack that they do, if they're paralyzed, they won't do it.
Oh really?
Oh, that would have been really nice.
Yeah.
And she also negates the buffs that they get.
Oh right, yep. Because of her BT effect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Again, Ash is shut down coming in clutch.
Yeah.
But Cross,
about the
she's a
effect is
terrible burst character.
Oh my fucking god. Listen, the only people that say that are the no-turners.
Yeah.
And the people that want high numbers. And even though, like, again, this game is about getting high numbers, it's about how you get those high numbers. Not every character is going to be automatic, like, 999 damage off cap without any sort of support.
Yeah, I just wish Ash's personal damage was a bit better. Like Garnet's a support, and Garnet does good damage, right?
Well, Garnet's also broken.
Well, I'm talking in JP, right? And I don't think Garnet is like necessarily, broken here. I think she's more on the level.
Yeah, she's balanced.
Yeah. So and I just mean like, yes, we're in her cycle, but I haven't noticed the damage fall off that I did with Ash when using Garnet. And I don't even have her BT because it will just never appear for me.
Just play FF9 again and it'll pop up.
I just don't like about the enemy scaling to your level in 9.
Speaking of things that take forever to appear, the next event was Jesse's, where it took me a long time, but I finally got Cecil's burst here, as well as Jesse's FR. I forget how deep I had to go into this banner, but by the time I had finished, let me go look at the banner right now. Oh shoot, I forgot I just closed JP. By the time I actually got the FR for Jesse, I had pulled enough copies of a bunch of the other things on the banner that even if I hadn't had the characters, maxed out, I could have built them 3 or 4 times over. My pulls were not great, as I recall.
Yeah, that's my experience right now with Garnet, so I feel that pain. But Jessie herself is kind of an interesting unit. She's a turn manipulating aura bot with a side feature of ranged elements. Is that? Would you guys agree with that?
I would say she's a turn manipulator who. She's basically an aura. She's an aura bot who turn manipulates. Let's say that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call her an aura bot because her auras are not good.
Wait, what's her auras?
They're pretty mid.
All right, I take back what I said.
Let me go double check on Compendium. Shout out to Compendium.com. I seem to remember when I was reading over her kit, the translations, her only auras are like party attack and max brave up, I think.
Oh, okay.
But let me double check before I start talking that shit. Party attack, party max brave, party overflow. 20% brave, 20% HP damage up. That's it.
Yeah, so kind of a bit on the lower end of things, but sort of fits into that role because aside from the turn manipulation, she doesn't really bring anything else to the table. I think sort of getting to what Theo's saying about the Jessie hype dying, I don't think there's too many units that really work well with her at the moment. And I think Lion, you can speak more to this, but it seems like the best pair with her is Cypher, and Cypher's kind of dated at this point. So I
shut your mouth.
and,
I'm
listen,
kidding, you're absolutely
yeah,
right.
Shut your mouth.
save
How
that
dare
for
you
later,
talk like
Lion.
that.
But yeah, I think she's just in a place where there aren't too many people that work with her, and so I think as more units come out that work with her FR, she will come back into the spotlight.
I would agree with that. I think.
Yeah.
Her FR conditions are ranged attacks. It also increases. This is worded really weirdly. At the end of one of your turns, when that turn is followed by an ally turn. So basically, when it's sort of like a Garland burst effect type deal, where you want to have lots of consecutive turns.
Onion Knight's FR has this condition as well.
And then the third condition, and this is the one that's harder to meet, is when you are delaying an enemy or you are like manipulating a party member's turn. So like I think the accepted term right now is rally for like your Ignis EX or Onion Knight LD
Or Sid Reigns.
Or Reigns. I don't know if it works with Aphmau or not. But it's hard to meet all of those conditions because there's so few characters in the game that can do that. Cypher is one of them because he has consistent delays as long as his LD buff is up. That's about it. I think for this fight, I ran a party of Kane, Jesse, and Cypher, and it was unpleasant. The later I got into the fight, and maybe the enemies, stats were spiking or something, but I could see that my characters weren't capping their damage, either Brave or HP, and that was during Force Time. It did not feel good. It was nice seeing that my Jesse and Cypher combo on paper works, because the way that Jesse works is all of her skills have either a 2-turn delay on them, or they manipulate an ally's turn and pull it up immediately after Jesse's. And then she has one skill where she moves her own turn immediately after your ally's turn, kind of like Lael's LD. It's really fun to play with, and if she had been released earlier, she would probably be one of the she would have been one of the most broken characters in the game. But at this point, I mean, the enemies aren't, delay immune or anything like that. It's just you've got all this utility, and it's hard to take advantage of it with her FR. I'm sure that you could use her in a team with somebody else's, and it would be fine. Hers just doesn't feel great to press, I guess.
Did you run her with Aranea?
I haven't, but that is a really good idea because
she's ranged, she delays.
Yeah. Ranged and okay. And that would,
but again, no auras. So yeah.
Well, now Aranea has the debuff.
That's an aura.
Which it's not an aura, but it will work like one when you don't let them have turns.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I guess like out of your party of Jesse, Cypher, and Kane, which one of those? So you can only swap out 2. Which one of those 2, Cypher or Kane, would you swap for Aranea?
Cypher is my favorite character in this game.
Right. So you're dropping a BT effect.
Yeah, exactly.
RNA, yeah,
and that's dumb.
Yeah.
It would have to be Cypher.
Yeah.
You bring in RNA. I think that might actually work.
Because Cypher's foul debuff is also a pretty potent defense down, right?
Yes.
I think it's like 80%.
It's not that high. I think it's 40.
You wish it was 80%.
I thought.
And then he has his own his C65 debuff is also defense down.
Yeah.
And
maybe I'm thinking of them combined.
I think together it's 80%.
Okay.
Yeah. He is a little dated though.
Yeah.
He needs like an extra HP attack on all of his buttons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With his BT. NFR.
Man, from your lips to God's ears. Oh man, I just want to see the animation of him fucking killing Odin. Just ignore the enemy team members. What did you guys run for this fight?
Let's see.
I ran Core, Jack Garland, and then I ran Selfie, I believe that was my last one, and then I came back to it with Reigns. I can't remember the last. No, it wasn't Reigns. It was Arden. I came back with Arden because I was like, I haven't used Arden in a long time, and I wanted to use him again.
Yeah. So this is the team I ran. I ran Dark Knight Cecil again, Selfie, and Jesse. This was not the team I first tried the fight with, though. And as soon as the fight loads, I'll go into why. So this is a 3-enemy fight. Each enemy has 100 million HP, I believe.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So a pretty good amount of HP. Because it's split, it doesn't feel as thick as something like COD would, for example. But it's still a decent amount compared to some of the other fights that we've been getting recently. But a very unique thing, at least as far as I'm aware here, with the enemy FR gauge, is once it gets down to the final turn, this rightmost one will kill one of your units on its final turn. There is a way to bypass this through paralyzing it, I believe. I remember.
Paralyzing.
Yeah. So there is a workaround. I don't know if that would make the FR go down to 0, or if it stays at 1 and then it's just you need to keep it permanently paralyzed. I'm not exactly sure how the workaround functions. But if you
think about this, right?
Yeah.
Think about this, right? If in an FR gauge, right, since the enemies they need to get a turn for their gauge to go down. Mm-hmm. Think about this, right? When they're paralyzed, it counts as them as acting. So, like, if they're on their turn, but they can't act, but it's still on their force time, then their force is going to decrease.
So it's still an enemy turn.
It's still an enemy turn.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so that is a very good way to completely bypass the main mechanic of the fight.
Actually, that's a good point. That would make Cloud good with Jesse as well.
Yeah.
Which, obviously.
Yeah. If you don't bypass that that mechanic of being killed once the FR goes off, it is a way of the devs sort of disincentivizing sort of an off-turn enemy team comp. At least it was for me, because I'm not quite skilled enough and I don't have all the units and the mental wherewithal to be able to pull off a 1 FR clear. And so the enemies did end up getting into their force time. And as such, you can't just let the off turns go off and kind of say whatever, who cares about their force time, because they'll kill you once their force time ends. So I thought that was an interesting way of sort of resolving the current off turn power level going on in the game right now. And it obviously also pushes Jesse, since Jesse can constantly pull your units up or delay the enemy so that they never get to the end of their own force time. So I thought that was like the main feature of the fight that I thought was interesting. The fact that there is a cheese kind of lessens the fight a bit, but apparently you can do something very similar in the Kane Shinryu that we have right now in Global. So, I can't critique it too much. They seem to allow these sort of, or maybe not allow, but they seem not to catch all the different ways we can work around things. So I think that it is what it is in this case. But if you take the fight on as intended, it is a neat and interesting fight. I'm not sure how you guys felt about the Jesse fight.
Doesn't this fight
Oh.
also, doesn't it neuter magic damage?
Correct. It does.
Oh, right. Selfie's technically magic, but
No Seymour for
She
me.
doesn't do brave damage.
yeah, she doesn't do brave damage, yeah. Yeah, so, and I think, weapon type, or not weapon type, but attack type lockouts, like physical or ranged or magic, are a better way of doing lockouts than elements. It feels like it's less picky on specific units. It's like your whole group is not allowed, as opposed to just like the 2 water units in the game.
So, my stance on the fight is like I mentioned before, it makes doing off-turn damage a little bit harder. But I still think off-turn damage is still like pretty okay. So this might be just me, but I think this is the fight right here where you start realizing how powerful off-turn damage is, because the bosses, it's 3 bosses, right? 3 bosses. That's just screaming to get off-turn damaged, right? You don't have to do it, but it's something that is very good. And then not only that, if you plan accordingly, you could make it so that before the enemy's force time goes off, that you basically just kill them before they even like do that one-shot attack. Because there's still like Minwu and Galoof and how even Gladio and Edge clears on this stage. Actually, no. Speaking of which, this boss did have a guaranteed hit.
In their
did not?
force.
No, it wasn't their force attack. It's their HP attack built into their kit. It's a guaranteed hit. So it makes it harder to bring in like Galoof and Edge and Slice. But you could bring Gladio, and Gladio will just eat the fight alive because they don't bypass HP damage reduction stuff.
Yeah.
I might try Ferris on this.
Yeah. One thing to say about Jessie is she's got pretty good animations.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I love it when she blows out Maria's ear.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I'm gonna come in and get really close to you, like I'm gonna whisper, and then start shouting.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's about the cycle. What did you guys think about Dark Knight Cecil cycle overall? And let's say compared to Ash cycle.
Compared to Ash cycle, we got 2 good fights and 1 not necessarily bad fight. Like this might just be me, but like in Shiryu, I think that there are easy fights. But they're not like so ungodly awful easy that you could sit there and just talk about it for like a split second and not care.
Yeah.
Because the thing about this cycle, right, is that even though Kuja's IW, the easiest fight, it had a mechanic that you had to look out for, and that's something I respect the devs doing. When it came to Ash's cycle, you had the Ramu Spiritus, all right, good mechanics, good fight. Then you go to Slice's Lost Chapter, which is literally a copy paste.
Yeah. It's just the same fight.
And then CPU, it's like you lock out us from doing like that much damage. That's fine and cool, but like you also don't lock out Brave Game.
You also give the fight the same amount of HP per enemy as we got in T9.
Yep.
Yeah.
So compared to Ash's cycle, this cycle is more of a W in terms of the fights. I think in terms of the units, it depends. I don't know, because if we were to take like both their cycles and compare the units, I think like the winner from Ash's cycle would probably be like, and it might be because of my bias, but I think it might be Slice that may be the winner, not Ash herself. And then Dark Knight Cecil cycle, the winner for that is, honestly, in my opinion, Dark Knight Cecil.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Oh, big time.
Yeah. I mean, Jesse's neat and all, but I think Dark Knight Cecil is just like, he's very competitive now. Compared to a lot of his BT effect isn't 6 turns, which is great compared to a lot of the BTs we've been getting lately. Yeah, and he does a lot of damage. He's fun to play. He has interesting mechanics with the HP bouncing now. They made HP relevant again with this kit. Yeah, I definitely think he's a winner here.
I think that for me, I would give the win to Ash's cycle.
Really?
That's interesting.
Well, with an asterisk. The fights for Cecil's are a little more like the fights are better. They're a little more engaging. You do have the instant kill mechanic, for example, in Jesse's, and fucking Transcendence 13. But I think that the standout fight for Ash, which was Rama Spiritus, I think that I enjoyed that a lot more than any of the Cecil fights, to the point where it kind of makes up for the other two being a little bit weaker, if that makes sense. The quality over the quantity, I guess.
That's fair. Although I got a slight counterpoint here is that you haven't finished Transcendence 13, right?
I have not, no.
Yeah. So.
But at the
yeah,
same
like
time,
your perspective
I've also
could change
done
on
the
that
fight to the last 10% of the third wave, and I just ran out of juice at that point.
Well, I mean, that's a skill issue thing then.
Sure, absolutely. But
yeah, but you had more fun with the Ramu fight.
Yeah, I didn't. None of the fights in Cecil's cycle can I look back at it and say, yeah, I had fun with that. Mm-hmm. Whereas at the very least, I really enjoyed the Rama Spiritus, even though I did eat shit on that a couple of times, because I would come back to it, and each time I was like, I was more engrossed in it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I definitely think there's a lot more going on in Ramu Spiritus compared to Transcendence 13. I'd agree with that general sentiment.
I think that it's, at least for me, it's a high enough high that it makes up for the lower lows.
Yeah, I think I would still give it to Dark Knight Cecil Cycle, but I see the merit in your point. Okay, so we are going to bounce out of this fight. Bye.
So, I think one thing I will take away from the Shimmy era, not so much Lufenia Plus, because I don't want to talk about Lufenia Plus right now. But for the Shimmy era, I kind of have this thing where I'm not expecting every fight to be hard. Some fights can have interesting mechanics, but they can be easy. They can't be free, but they can be easy. Yeah. And I would much rather prefer that, because again, you can't make every fight hard, and that's what people probably want for this game, because in-game content, it's supposed to be the hardest thing in the game, right? But sometimes the devs just give us a break because of maybe they were too punishing on the mechanics or something like that. Like, some people probably would like a break from all the hard fights, and like maybe have an easy fight or two. I don't mind that. Like Ramu Spiritus, really good fight. It was really hard, really challenging. If you didn't have the necessary characters for it, it could be a pain in the ass. And then they gave us 2 easy fights after that. I personally don't really find that being an issue. I'm more on the side of I would like more harder fights as a player of my as myself, because I prefer like using characters in harder content and awarded for that. So that's why I feel like Cecil Cycle is better for me.
Yeah, I think we'll have to see how things go with the new changes in the post Garnet BT cycle era, where BT cycles are erased from the game, and now every new banner has a BT, but it's once a week. We'll have to see if that changes how they design fights, or if they change the ratio of good to bad, or I guess hard to easy fights. So a lot of things are up in the air. I think I'd sort of agree with you, Cross, in terms of I would like fights to be more consistently difficult. But I also do want every once in a while a fight, and I guess that's what we have right now with Spiritus. But yeah, a fight that's on like the Spiritus caliber or the Cloud of Darkness Act 3 chapter finale, whatever. Fights of those level of difficulty. And Transcendence 13 is there, but it's done so in a less engaging way than I think a lot of the fights have been. And maybe Pandemonium Spiritus would also be similar to Transcendence 13, where
fuck that fight.
Yeah, where it's very difficult, but not in a fun or interesting way. It's more like a forced, heavy-handed way. Yeah. So
I mention this every single time I bring up like fights in JP that are memorable to me and fights that I loved in JP for the while I've been playing it. And the fight I keep bringing up is Benevelza, because Benevelza was such a good fight. It had lockouts. It had lockouts. It had mechanics that you look forward to. It literally was probably, in my opinion, one of the best fights DFFOO's ever had. You didn't have to bring the synergy characters, but the synergy characters made it easier, but it wasn't free.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. I think those are really what make DFFOO shine, are those really tough, memorable fights. And they've been doing pretty good with the story chapter bosses, like we're getting in 2 days on Global, or tomorrow, with Braska's Final Aeon.
Braska's Final Aeon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they've been hitting it out of the park so far, starting with Hell Emperor and Save for Sephiroth, and now Braska, or BFA. I think they're pretty good. I don't know how the Ultimecia Griever fight was.
It was good.
Yeah,
I like that one.
It was
too.
good.
Yeah. So I think they've been pretty consistent now, at least in terms of when they do a good fight, when they do a good fight with ties to the other Final Fantasy games, they do it well. And I think that's the best thing we can hope for in a crossover game like DFFOO.
Unless your name is Kefka and you're just a Lufenia.
That is so brutal that he gets delegated to the Lufenia version, and specifically the fact that they made it God Kefka too. Like, they could have made it just a lame base version of Kuja or Kefka, and then it would have been fine, because it's like, okay, they're saving God Kefka for later. But no, they just put it all into the Lufenia and then said bye. So it's like, okay, I guess we just lose out on that fight. Yeah, I feel bad. He deserved more.
Listen, that just makes it so that there's more room for better final boss fights in DFFOO.
Yeah, 100%.
So you mentioned the losing out. Do you guys have any thoughts on the people on Global that are losing out on those 30 tickets?
Okay.
Oh my fucking god. Okay.
Okay.
I mentioned this to Void. I mentioned this to Tree Void. Yeah. I swear on everything, bro. I mentioned this to Tree Void yesterday, and you weren't there live, but I said to him that, like, honestly, when we get to this subject, I'll be honest with you, I don't fucking care. I really don't. It is literally like 30 tickets. You're gonna go pour off of 30 tickets?
Okay. So on this transition, we'll also transition into our debate scene. So if any of you are Danganronpa fans, you may recognize this. But here we go. Okay, cool. So let's push this down a bit. Okay, so Ticketgate. Let's, I guess, define, starting off, or put the parameters of what the controversy is, right? So I will start things off by being very narrow in what my issue is. That way, we're not talking about different issues that aren't relevant to the conversation. So I will be very specific here in that my only contention with this topic, or with this ticket reward system that they've decided to implement for these next 2 months, is the incorporation into the premium Mog Pass system. I have no objection to the quest existing in and of itself. I think that's fine. I think having more pull incentives is generally a good thing for the game. I don't think they incentivize pulling enough. I think putting in what I can only describe as a pull incentive, because they did not add these tickets out of the goodness of their heart, behind a premium service, so behind a paywall, is a good direction for the premium Mog Pass to go. I don't care if you label it as a bonus or whatever. We can disagree about whether or not it's a bonus. But I think just the fact of adding a pull incentive, regardless of the specifics of what that incentive is, I'm talking more here just the general concept, I think is a poor direction to go for your premium subscription service, especially when it's so much more expensive than its other contemporaries and requires more of you than its contemporaries. So people have brought up, I think poorly, a counterexample of treat this like a battle pass, which is what I've always treated Mog Pass as, the premium Mog Pass. The issue with using that analogy here is that, first of all, battle passes are usually significantly cheaper than premium Mog Pass. So that's one thing in terms of the financial cost of it. And then on a technical point, I have not seen a battle pass that requires of the player to do some sort of difficult task to meet the objectives. Like I just started Genshin Impact again. All the missions for its battle pass system are stuff you could do anyways. So it's do your dailies, use your stamina system from that game. So it's not asking anything special of the user. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has a battle pass, and the only requirement to do that is to duel, and you get points whether you win or you lose. So regardless of player skill, you get all the rewards out of that battle pass as well. I believe in shooters, it's a similar thing. It's just play the game more and you get rewards. It's not it's not like in Fortnite, as far as I'm aware, you don't need to win a match of Fortnite to upgrade your battle pass or move it along, right? It's just participate in the system, in the game's economy, and you will proceed as such. So that's why I think the battle pass example that has been raised is a faulty analogy in this specific use case. So those are my that's my basic outline of where I stand on the issue and why I take fault with the inclusion behind the premium Mog Pass. Again, this is a general topic of rewards being behind a paywall and not the specifics of it being exactly 20 tickets. I'm not getting into the minutia of that. Yeah. If you guys want to go ahead.
Cross, thoughts?
I'm gonna be the one to say, personally, I've done the Krill and I've done the Kane one, and I have Premium Pass. But the only thing I will say that they possibly could have done to alternate this was to, instead of saying do the Shinryu, to do the Lufinia. That's the only thing I can say that could probably fix that issue. But entirely, I don't know what to say about it. I just don't, because like, I didn't make a huge deal about it. Like when I first, actually, I didn't know that was in the thing anyway. I didn't know it was in there.
Yeah, this is a an extra campaign that we got for GL, and it's only for 2 months. It's for the first 2 months, at least so far.
So, what I will say is that, and what I'm taking away from this is that your issue is with the rewards, specifically being locked behind Mog Pass, correct?
Specifically behind and not only Mog Pass, the premium Mog Pass.
Because it's behind. You also get additional rewards for the regular one, not just the premium. It's fewer rewards.
Yes, yes, and the fact that I don't care about the rewards behind the that aren't tied to premium Mog Pass. I'm actually fine with that. If those were the only ones that existed, I wouldn't have even raised this topic. This is technically less restrictive than the Chaos challenges we had back when that was the premier end game content before Lufenia dropped in that weird transition phase that we had. This is technically speaking less restrictive than that.
Right.
So I don't care about that.
Okay. So it's specific to it being behind premium Mog Pass, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I think. If these rewards were not there, would you have felt like premium Mog Pass was still worth it? Would you feel that you had gotten your money or investments worth from premium Mog Pass?
Yes, technically speaking, premium Mog Pass has increased in value from the transition from, and I mean that's debatable, but it's the conditions of the premium Mog Pass may have changed slightly due to the increase in enhancement points. But yes, overall, if these tickets didn't exist, it would be exactly like it is in JP right now. And again, there's no material change to the premium Mog Pass. So yes, I have no issues with it.
Okay. And would you feel as though you had gotten your money's worth without the incentives here?
I would have to, considering I purchased it before I knew these existed.
Okay, so wait, have you also gotten it in the past, like on any kind of a regular basis?
I've had premium Mog Pass ever since they implemented the Ultimate Weapon course.
Okay.
And I did get it briefly before that, but then I capped out on the BT token exchange material, and so I dropped it then, because at that point there was no reason for me to get premium Mog Pass.
Okay. So, if I'm understanding this correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong here, absolutely.
We're going to get into this fucking bonus conversation.
Wait, what's so
yes,
funny?
we are.
Oh,
so
God.
what you're saying is that when they decide to make a campaign to celebrate the start of a new era.
Oh my God! Now, did Squex pay you here to celebrate the start of a new era?
Look, that's what it's for. All right, we did not get this shit for fucking C90 or whatever. Although
right.
that this might be a bad example because that was an anniversary. Anyway, so. So they give us these extra rewards or whatever that are tied to Mog Pass and Premium Mog Pass, which, as we've established, you're already feeling like you're getting your money's worth from. So it's extra stuff. What's the problem?
Okay.
People, you mentioned that it's a pull incentive, but is it really a pull incentive when you can take a basic, like LD only version of these characters through this fight with no problem?
So there's a couple points.
I guess you could argue, and this will be I'll stop talking after this. I guess you could argue that it's incentivizing you to at least pull for the LD, but at least from my perspective, that's not really any different from the Chaos or now Lufenia challenges, where you have to have at least a character that is reasonably well built. Same deal here.
Okay. So I think there's a couple points you raised there. I'll try and answer them all, but I don't have the greatest memory, so some points could get missed. I guess I'll hit them in reverse order then. So the reason why I think there's a material difference between the mission requirements for the Ultimate Weapon course regarding, complete the Chaos, complete the Lufenia. Those missions are, and prior to the Shinryu era, it was complete the Cosmos and complete the Chaos. So you can bring any units you want. There's no restriction on units. You can bring friend units. There's no restriction on friend units. Both of these are not the case with this, and both of them are not the most difficult content. Back in Lufenia Plus, you didn't even need to do the base Lufenia. You only had to do the Chaos and the Cosmos. So 2 and 3 levels of difficulty below where current content is and where characters are built around. So that is not... So you have to have a unit. Yes, that's true. I would say you would only need 1 unit, really, and a friend unit. I think to say that is equivalent to being able to complete the fight while having the synergy featured unit in your party and not having a friend unit, and it being the most difficult content in the game. I think those are 2 completely different leagues of challenge, right? Would you agree that those aren't really comparable in terms of what they're asking of the player?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
With a caveat, and it's because this is brand new content. They're trying to get you to engage with it.
Right. I'm not disputing that point.
And what specifically by brand new content, I mean the difficulty level.
Oh, I see. So you're saying that they're locking this behind Shinryu because they want players to do Shinryu.
Possibly. I know previously Cosmos did not have any kind of thing like this. It started with Chaos, which at the time was the hardest difficulty in the game. And then they just now added the same thing for Lufenia, which people started freaking out about, and I think you said this as well, from your perspective as a relatively new JP player, it's more or less a non-issue now. Same kind of deal here. And I'm going to stop talking because you had more points to make. I have in the middle of my sentence, I thought of something else, but I'm going to let you finish your point.
Okay, so I guess my argument here is an argument from precedent. So if we look at how the Premium Mod Pass has always functioned, it's always given you rewards based off not the most difficult level of content, and additionally you were allowed to bring in any units, so there were no character restrictions and there were no friend restrictions. So to me, the fact that there are restrictions on your roster, the fact that there are a restriction on friend units, and the fact that it's the most difficult content, those 3 points make me treat it as a fundamentally different level of challenge of the player that's being brought out relative to the way Premium Mod Pass has always functioned and it will function in the future, assuming that they don't carry this feature forward. So that's why, off of an argument of precedent, that this is my issue, behind putting what is. You may call it a reward. Raw Life may say it's a bonus. It's Yin is saying it's just something on top.
Raw Life needs some 30 tickets. You don't know.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, technically it's 20 tickets times 6 events, right? So it's more. It's like 100.
No, it's times 12 events.
6 events per month. Oh yes, you're right. Yeah.
So
it does
this
add
was
up.
something that I thought of to put this in perspective. Over the course of this period of time, that's 360 tickets, assuming that you do all of these challenges, which is roughly equivalent to a divine summon.
Right. Which I think is a pretty meaningful amount of tickets. But sort of my point has never been, again, on the specific rewards that are being issued, right? My issue is only 2 levels of restriction on you. So the reason why, again, I treat it like a paywall behind a paywall is because, as you said, technically speaking, the first fight you could eat a Rothit, right? So you could bring a bronze cane. But what that means is that you are required to have, a specific team composition of Ida and Sephiroth to be able to do that, right? So again, that's asking a lot more than what you are typically asking for within the premium Monk Pass service. It is not of the same level that's being required of you historically. So that I which again, I'm kind of reiterating my point here, but my main crux is that this is going against precedent. If this had always been the way Premium Mog Pass had functioned from the get-go, I would have still disliked it, but I would have not had this issue because then I would have known what I've been getting into from the start. Right? I don't like that the terms of my purchase have changed on me without my knowledge, right?
Except, and this is where I think the major flaw in that argument is, the terms have not changed. It's literally in addition to what you are already receiving and what you will continue to receive.
Right. So
it's a feature.
Right. So this is the fundamental disagreement that I've been getting into as of late. Raw Life being maybe the main proponent of it up until this conversation. So it's being referred to as a bonus or a reward or something that's on top of, and for specific individuals, I can definitely say, let's say you were going into this, you had already planned to pull all the units, and so this doesn't impact you at all, right? So this is just extra tickets for something you're already planning on doing. Yeah, Yoshi, kind of. Where forced may not be the right word here. It's more like you're being pushed along. And I don't like the pressure that's being exerted on the player base here. Okay, so I don't want to get too mired in chat here, and I want to kind of just finish my points because I could argue with Raw Life for forever, to no end.
Yeah.
It's not a winning.
By that point, you probably fall asleep while you're doing it too.
Exactly. Fuck. So I've been sidetracked here. What was I saying at the end? Right. So why were the tickets added? Right. I think. So the tickets, you were saying they were added as a celebration, right?
No, I'm saying that is a possible reason. That is a presumption on my part, because it's a campaign for the beginning of the new difficulty.
It's his game theory.
Mm-hmm. So
it's just a theory.
Game theory. So I disagree with that analysis of the. Well, again, you're saying you're proposing it as a theory. technically speaking, yes, of course it's possible. That is not my perspective on it. And obviously we can disagree, and that's fine. But from the way that I see it is, these ticket missions were not added in such a way that they're permanent content, right? So you can do it whenever. They were added as time limited to say, listen, if you pull these units now, we will give you something, right? To me, that's the only way I can think of it is as an incentive, right? And we are going to give you more if you've given us 50 Canadian dollars. I think it's 30 something US, right? So not a cheap amount. And so, my fundamental issue here is that this is not designed for the people who said they were never going to pull Kane or never pull Cryle, right? I don't think you're going to pull those people over. I think the people you are going to pull over are the people who are sort of on the fence, or the people who are really struggling with the content.
Well, they're favorites.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it was your favorite, I think you'd pull anyways, right? I mean, if you weren't gonna...
I don't know. Some people have favorites and they don't even pull them.
Yeah, I know, and I understand that.
Look at Raw. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. So yes, this is causing people who are sort of on the fence, like this will lead to people to pull. I don't know if you would dispute that fact. Like, do you think that there are 0 people that this has changed their perspective on pulling on the banner?
I do
not really know.
Okay, so this is where my issue is, right? That you're paying a lot of money for a system that has, up until this point, always rewarded you for really not needing to pull on a specific event. Technically, yes, you would need to pull in the abstract, but never with a gun to your head, sort of in a time limited fashion. This changes that, and I do not appreciate the dynamic that is being put on players who are already paying for your premium service, to now say, okay, here we're going to add a little bit of fire under your ass to pull more. Okay. So that's sort of the crux of my argument. I don't think this is world ending, right? Like, I don't think this is anything similar to the level of the gem cap or anything like that. I just don't like the fact that you're already pressuring me to do something when I'm already paying into your game, right? Like get off my ass, right? I've already given you a lot of money. Get off my ass about these pulls.
Yeah, don't be brave, that's fierce.
So, counterpoint. You mentioned that you did not appreciate that they added this after the fact and that there's a set precedent. Remember what happened when Mog Pass was introduced?
Could you be more specific?
So originally when Mog Pass was introduced, it was a way to increase the number of points that you could get off of events. And if you... and that includes summon points, which was a major selling factor. And if you went for the premium pass, you could get burst tokens.
Correct. Yep.
That was the difference.
Yep.
As well as the EX tokens.
Sure.
So then they added the extra Ultima cores.
Okay.
So additional value that you were receiving for that.
Yep.
Did you feel the same way then?
No.
Because at that point, the parameters had changed.
Yes. Okay. So I don't think any change ever is bad.
Okay. So
that's
this is
not
a change
my argument.
that just, if you do absolutely nothing, if you don't do the mission, nothing changes. You still got exactly what you paid for, what you were expecting to get. If you do a little extra, you get some extra stuff. And additionally, if the and this is where I would agree with you, if the rewards that you received were force stones, high power stones, burst tokens, if it was something that was
meaningful,
for lack of if it was meaningful, I feel like you would have a much better point, but it's not. It's 20 tickets, 30 tickets. Over time, sure, it's a lot of tickets, but if it was over time, 12 burst tokens or 12 force stones or 60,000, I guess 5,000 for each one, 60,000 enhancement points or something like that, that would be a much bigger deal. And that would be, at that point, they're actually incentivizing you to buy the pass. Which is more disingenuous, if I don't know if that's a word that you want to use to describe this, but that seems like it's more trying to light the fire under the player's ass in order to invest both in the Mog Pass and the characters, versus, hey, here's some extra stuff that you weren't expecting to get because we didn't do this originally, and if you don't do it, cool, you're not penalized.
So, I just like how when they added the Ultimate Weapon cores, I didn't object. Of course not. Why would I object, right? It's extra rewards for something that I was already doing, right? Which is clearing the Cosmos and the Chaos, because you have to do that to get to the Lufenia. It's a non-optional thing if you want to play the game at the current endgame. So it's already something you're doing, right? I think that's different than adding in something that is not only out of your way, but above and beyond what the base game is asking of you.
On the other hand, it's meaningful rewards locked behind something that you're forced to do if you're going to do the end game content. And you also mentioned that you didn't appreciate that it was on it was time gated, just like the Ultimate Course. Whereas here it's less meaningful rewards locked behind something that you are not forced to do. That, at least for the first 5 out of 6 events, is not time gated at all. I mean, the mission is, but
yes, but the event itself is not.
Right.
So I don't think I quite understand your point here. If you're playing Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia and you are spending $50 a month on it, I would imagine you would at least, and you're in the Lufenia Plus era at C90, I would imagine any player who's invested that much into the game would be normally completing the Cosmos and the Chaos missions. I don't think that's a deviation from what players would do. Would you disagree with that?
I think that the fundamental of the basis of that argument is flawed, because there is a massive gaping void of different the gap between C90 Lufenia and Shinryu is huge.
Okay.
So no, it's not the same.
Okay, I'm not sure where you're going here. Sorry. I just want to kind of build up my perspective, and then you can sort of tear it down here. I know you're saying that my fundamental premise is flawed, right? So I understand that you want to cut it there, but I just so that I can understand where you are, right? So so again, I'll just re-ask my question, and then maybe you can rephrase your rebuttal if you think it's a total non sequitur. But do you think that people who are paying for Premium Mog Pass, and are doing the current game's content, would naturally be completing the Cosmos and the Chaos level difficulty as part of how they play the game for the new events as they come up?
If they are intending to complete all of the missions in the event and get the end game rewards, yes.
Okay, but yes, but like, I'm not sure what else you would do, right? Like when you're completing, like, I guess technically speaking, you could just play up until the EX level difficulty mission and then stop playing. But at that point, why are you purchasing the premium Mog Pass, right? Like you're not nice. Right, but the rewards you're getting are not relevant to what you're doing in the game.
But people like their toys. They like their shinies.
People also like wasting their money.
There are people that I know and who you have had contact with who do not even attempt base Lufenia content while still bemoaning their lack of ability to pull, XYZ burst, or now at this point, FR.
So that's fine, because again, back in Lufenia Plus, to get the Ultimate Weapon Cores, you needed to get up to the Chaos mission, right? You didn't need to touch Lufenia. You didn't need to deal with the orbs. You do now.
You did need to. Oh, sorry, for Mog Pass.
Yes, for the premium Mog Pass Ultimate Weapon Cores. Pass. Right. Yes. Which is again all I care about. Mm-hmm. All other things are not relevant to the conversation here. I want to be very specific to just discussing Mog Pass.
Please continue.
Yeah. So, in theory, I suppose there could be some rare players who have premium Mog Pass who do not obtain the Ultima Weapon Cores, because they choose not to do the Cosmos or the Chaos level mission. And for the very first month that feature was I could only critique that if you are on the JP side, because we also have foresight. So
yeah,
GL players have the luxury of knowing that this was coming. We did not get bamboozled or snuck up upon like we did with these with these tickets, right? So we knew this was here, and we knew this was coming. So the terms of the deal didn't change at that point because we were aware of it, right? So that would be sort of my counter argument here to your point, on that specific issue. So this was not a sudden change, and again, I think completing that content is reasonable. I don't think it is an unreasonable demand of the player to be able to complete either the Chaos or the Cosmos level difficulty back when we were in the Lufenia Plus era and we had access to C90 units.
Okay.
So then when you time skip forward to where we are, I think the level of difficulty and the demands of you are significantly different for the missions. And as such, there is some sort of incentive to, and it's not necessarily a strong one, but my objection is not to how impactful it is, just of its existence in its at all, is that they have now put in an incentive where there wasn't really one before. That's my only critique of this. Right? So again, for people who were already planning to do it, or for people who luck-sacked into it, into the feature weapon, or for people who are able to Eateroth it because they managed to have the right tools, is this a bonus for you as an individual? Yes, you are getting more rewards than what you were expecting. But do I also think that for a large portion of the player base, this now creates any sort of pressure or incentive to pull for a unit after you've already paid a premium? Yes, I think it does. And I think if you say that doesn't exist at all, I think you're being dishonest. I'm not saying that that's what you're saying, but I just mean in general that I do think you have to acknowledge that there is some sort of incentive that has been put out there to pull, even if that wasn't their intention. This is what it will lead to. Yes. Sorry, as Zian is saying, I know people are sort of discussing things in the chat, but I just want to make sure I get my points out because there's a lot of info going off. Squex is adding new tickets to a harder premium object mission. It's not specific about the tickets. It's a fact that there's a reward tied behind a very challenging mission that is preying on your FOMO and is specifically tied to the premium Mog Pass. I don't care that the mission exists outside of the premium Mog Pass. That's fine. I think they could even make it more restrictive and make it exactly like the Chaos challenges. Just make it the Shinryu challenge. I mean, I would hope you'd put a better reward than 10 tickets, but you could do that and I wouldn't complain. We have precedent for that in the Chaos challenge. My only critique is that now this is being added to the premium service. And I get the argument that this is on top of your pass and you didn't pay more for it and now you're being gated behind it. I understand that. I just disagree that just because it's being added on top means that it's of a benefit to the player or that there is no negative impact to the player base or to individuals who may not have been planning to pull and are now planning to pull or have changed their pull plans, right? Because on average, you are going to spend more than 30 tickets to get a featured unit, right? This will end up as a net loss to most players who have been pushed over the edge because of this, right? So really, I don't think of it as a bonus. This is more like a credit or a rebate. Like if you frame it that way, then I can sort of kind of agree with you that the way I perceive it is not a bonus, but more of like a cashback on what you're investing in the unit. I still disagree with it, but I think that's a more honest way of framing it. And yes, Raw, if they add something to the premium Mog Pass, I think it should be attainable by basically all players. If it was the same mission on the Chaos, I still don't like that you have to pull the unit. But yeah, if it was on the Chaos difficulty, it's more okay. Basically, the easier you make it, the better I am with it. Yeah. Sorry. You guys can go now.
I'm just a bystander.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I dragged you into this cross. Yeah.
I've completely lost my train of thought at this point.
Yeah.
Again, it's just probably me, but I
don't see the big deal.
I don't think it's a major deal, right? Again.
I don't think it's The Last of Us.
No, but I'm spending a lot of time on it because I dislike the business decision that's being made here, and I dislike as a paying customer for a service that they're adding a sort of push behind me, right? Again, this doesn't impact me. I'm planning to pull all these units. This isn't a personal gripe I have. This is just as a feature of the premium Mog Pass. I don't like that they're doing this to the premium Mog Pass, right? That's my fundamental argument. I don't think this is a huge game breaking deal. I'm only making, I guess, a big deal out of it because I see a lot of people making arguments that I disagree with, and I just want to air that out as clearly as I can, even if that may not have been the case in this showcase of my perspective here. But I just want to be really clear about something I disagree with the game that I both invested a lot of time and money into. So when I think it makes a business decision I disagree with, I do want to give my disagreement airtime. So that's why I've made a bigger stink of it than I think is, really quite necessary. But this is why I've been so vocal on this issue.
I disagree with your disagreement.
I disagree with your disagreement. Spoken like a true debater.
I mean, and again, that's fair. I didn't come into this saying, I must convince everyone that they are wrong, and that if you're not, you're a shill or whatever. But I at least appreciate having an honest discussion about it. You're not like speaking in bad faith, like certain streamers that I won't name. Who like to define words that aren't necessary to a conversation. But no, I'm not making a slippery slope argument. I'm making an argument based off the existence herein thereof. So that's been sort of my fundamental piece. I think that's sort of my closing argument here. Lion, I know you've had very long days. I won't keep you any longer. Cross, I'm sorry to drag you into this.
All I'm gonna say is...
I don't really mind, dude. Yeah. Don't worry, I get used to this shit all the time. Yeah. Listen, listen. At least you're not sitting there for a good hour and 50 minutes debating on whether or not a character is bad or underrated.
Look, Desh sucks. I said it.
Okay, that's fine.
Come at me, Reddit.
Okay, but Braska sucks more.
No.
Oh my god.
Worse than Braska. Yes.
I like the confidence in the no. I respect that.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with Sinewave earlier.
Yeah. Lion is a man of his
on Reddit
convictions.
On his Braska evaluation. Braska is mid, but it's useful. Desh is not. And we'll talk about this more at some point in time on the future on Historia Crux. Which, if you're not already subscribed to Cross, go subscribe to him. Go hit him up on Twitch. He does Historia Crux every Tuesday at insert time here because time zones.
8 p.m. EST. 8 p.m.
There you
EST.
go.
I was just about to respond. What the fuck? What the fuck? I was just about to respond.
Thank you, Raw. Goodness gracious.
If you somehow found your way here and aren't subscribed to Cross somehow, please do so and watch Historia Crux and all of Cross's content. He's putting out like great videos, all commentated as well. I know I've been watching a lot, even more so than usual now because of the commentated runs. I mean, those are just great. Like you can have them on in the background while you're doing other things. So, check out Cross for sure. And of course, make sure to check out Lion as well. Wonderful co-host and very good, honest debate partner here.
He likes Seymour though, so he gets a little bit of like minus points.
Listen, we've all got our sins, right? So
Look, Seymour is how I cleared that Kuja fight. All right.
All right. Congratulations. The boss has low HP. The bosses have low HP. Congratulations. Congratulations.
As you start to snowball, as soon as you hit like your third term of force time, it's all right.
Oh my gosh.
Or your fifth one.
No, it's like turn 3.
Okay.
As soon as you get below 79%, he starts popping.
Yeah. Slowly popping. It's like popcorn, you got to put in the machine, you got to put in the butter.
It's very rapid.
You got to let it go off,
That's like the 6th or 7th turn of the fight.
It's a nice slow burn, it's like your romance fix, you got to sitting in the tub, you got the music on, reading your book.
Why not just swap Seymour out? Oh, wait, no, that's Cope.
Swap him out for a selfie, get the gauge going, Bring him back. Yeah.
No.
Okay, thanks for stopping.
You got to stop trying to work Smelfie into every stream.
I said selfie. I didn't even say it.
You were leading it there.
I was son of a bitch. It's not even. It's not even a me thing.
You got the candles. You got the music going.
Just whip.
Like
to Smelfie.
Oh, nah.
Thanks for stopping by,
Oh.
everyone, to episode 3 of Echoes from the Rift. Be sure to stop by 2 weeks from today on the 20th, where we'll be going over the final BT cycle ever in JP DFFOO, being Garnet's BT cycle.
You mean Neon?
Oh, fucking hell. Bandage bait.
Yeah, Indo's supposed waifu.
Yeah, I mean, who isn't Indo's waifu at this point?
Yeah, it first started off with first started off with Garnet. Then it was Neon bandages, then Slice's pits, and then Lion's forehead, and then, you know.
Yeah. Have a good evening, y'all.
See y'all later.